Thank you, Kristen. The law enforcement community here in Western Mass is sending thoughts and prayers to the Bristol community following the deaths of their 2 officers.
Our live team coverage continues now with Western Mass News reporter Glenn Kittle live in studio with how the Chicopee Police Department is reacting. Glenn?
Chris, Mary, I stopped by the Chicopee Police Department today where they're grieving the loss of the Bristol officers, but they're also focused on how their officers cope with the potential dangers on the job.
First, we'd like to express our condolences to the families, to the officers, to the department, along with their community, their time of grief and sorrow right now.
Chicopee police react to the shooting of 3 officers in Bristol, Connecticut on Wednesday night. In Western Mass, in the days following the shooting, police departments have had mental health and support services for those officers who need them.
We have a peer support system here where some of our officers have gone to a 40-hour CISM class. And if we have an incident like that transpires, we bring in the Western Mass Crisis Intervention Team, and they'll come in and they'll hold a debriefing with us and any officer that responded to the call.
Chicopee Police Public Information Officer Travis Odian tells Western Mass News there are conversations with upper management during these events. He says the mental health aspect of the job is crucial to retaining and adding officers.
Police officers realizing that officer mental health and well-being is key element for, to recruit new officers and keep the officers that are here. So they're very supportive of what our guys need.
Criminal justice professor Mike Lawler tells Western Mass News if these needs aren't met, it could cause more problems for officers in the field.
If you talk to cops, it's very clear, they feel like they're being unfairly criticized. They feel like half the community out there is against them. And that does affect the way they do their job. There's no question about that.
Now, the Chicopee Police Department tells Western Mass News they do plan on sending officers to the funeral services of those Bristol officers once the arrangements have been set. Live in studio, Glenn Kittle, Western Mass News.